Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah, coming to you guys in California. Before I begin, give all praises to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Prayer to the Most High blesses this lesson this evening. Gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past in order to understand the events that are currently happening on the earth. So we get a much better understanding of things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, we're going to start taking another step here and getting into some more information. I was sent a box full of notes and information from an individual called Switching Lanes. I got that information. I kind of slowly been going through it a little bit here and there, but like many times, the Most High, won't let me get into certain things when I'm not ready. So I don't think I was really ready for this information. This individual did so much research. It's absolutely mind blowing the amount of research that has been done and has been shared with me in order for me to be able to share it with you. And some of the last few videos I've done went along with some of the information that I just started reading this evening. So it's just amazing how the Most High sets things up. No, before I had any idea about some of this information. I mean, looked at some of it, but I hadn't read this yet. And we're going to be getting into some information. Maybe some of you guys are actually familiar with. Some maybe not. Talking about we're going to talk about the keys of Enoch a little bit, and Thoth. I'm not sure if you guys have read anything about Thoth before. I got a brother who is really into it, and he just like he got into the Americas first, and then eventually drew me in. He's been reading about Thoth, and the Most High just, when it was time, started bringing me into a little bit of the information. So we'll see. I said a lot of things have been hidden, but some of this information is pretty interesting. So I figured, we'll just kind of touch on it, and then if it interests some of you guys, it Most High puts in your spirit to go and research it. I mean, I got so much information. It's just I have to find the time to read it and study it. Before, like I said, I wasn't ready. It was, these things it wasn't really resonating with me yet. And then the Most High has been moving me the last couple of days to kind of get into here and read a little bit. So I want to bring a little bit of the information out to you guys, to kind of maybe whet your appetite a little bit, and then see where it takes you. I'm sure many of you have already heard of Thoth before. Many of the subscribers here are very well read. They've studied a lot of different things, and I'm sure they've already read, many of the books and a lot of the information talking about the Atlantean theory and all that other stuff. But the information we're just going to read a little bit today. And I said, and where the Most High leads me, we'll get into even some more information. But this is how it's supposed to be at the end. Knowledge will be increased. And that's talked about right here as well. So we're going to be talking about that. And if knowledge can't just be increased with just one book that our adversaries had handpicked and approved, and that's all we're allowed to read. There is so much more out here. But we're going to read a little bit right now. I'm gonna read a little bit on the top here. It kind of got cut off, but eventually we'll get there. Okay, you'll be able to see it. All right, talking about pretty much Enoch being like a priest scientist, which the priests were held to a very high regard, and they actually hid a lot of their information. It was not for everyone to get. So they really did a good day. Well, that was a part of it, hiding the information. Information doesn't go to everybody, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But it's talking about Enoch, okay? The priest scientist Enoch is a pre-Diluvian patriarch, okay? One of the most famous and seminal characters of the previous time cycle, father of Methuselah and great-grandfather of Noah. Enoch is credited in the Bible as architect of the original Zion, the legendary city of Yahweh, as well as inventor of the alphabet and calendar. Enoch is also history's first astronaut. Okay, so you start, well, let's keep going. who is taken aloft by the Lord and shown the secrets of earth and heaven. He returns to earth with the weights and measures for all humankind. Okay, now that's the top there. Now you start to think about where this information is. Definitely you start to look at over here in the Americas because it has the secrets of the earth and heaven. And you start talking about archaeoastronomy. You start talking about all these pyramids that are built. Um, and how they're aligned to the stars and the happenings and the movements of the stars and the planets. Okay, so it had to have been someone who was given that knowledge and understanding, and then they made these pyramids and other buildings that were all aligned to that. And the vast, if you find 100 in the so-called Middle East, you find over 1,000 or thousands over here in the Americas. So when you just look at the raw numbers, it just lets you know that this is where a lot of these things were taking place. Okay, so let's continue. Known to the Egyptians as Thoth. Okay, so they're talking about the Egyptians knew about Enoch and they called him Thoth. Okay, the Lord of magic and time, and to the Greeks as Hermes, messenger of the gods. He is even remembered in the Celtic tradition as the enigmatic wizard Merlin, who disappears up an apple tree to mythic Avalon, seeking the secret of immortality and vowing to return. And we know that many times Enoch would be gone, he'd be taken up into the heavens, and he would come back, days or months later, and he would just be going back and forth between, the spirit world and the world here. All right. As one who attained immortality, the secret of how we might become as gods, Thoth or Enoch promises to return at the end of time with the keys to the gates of the sacred land. All right, so there he goes. When he comes back, you're talking about him coming back with the keys, okay, to the gates of the sacred land or the holy land, sacred, right? So just continue now, because it's funny. Like I did a video on the Dead Sea Scrolls, and all of a sudden that was actually talked about right here also, okay? And the controversial Dead Sea Scrolls revealing the lost books of Enoch removed from the Bible by early religious leaders. Okay, so they, removing all these books and removing all this information, okay? Enoch describes a wondrous civilization in the past who misused the keys of higher knowledge and were unable to save themselves from the last cataclysm, both literally and figuratively. They lost the keys. They lost all higher knowledge, and that's definitely true. I said we have been really working on a very low frequency because this knowledge has been lost. But let's check a look at what's going to happen here at the end of the age. Yet Enoch, along with many traditions, even the Mayan legend of Quetzalcoatl, promises a return of this knowledge at the end of time or the end of the present time cycle. So then when you go into 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, where it talks about Esau is the end, okay? He's the end of this cycle. And as you can see right now, Esau, you can see his time is quickly coming to an end. You can see that his civilization, his world, is coming to an end. His society, everything about him is being exposed as he's being the people. There was a foolish nation that was put on top of us, and is being brought out and exposed daily. And we know that Jacob is going to be the one that's going to be leading the next time cycle. So when Jacob is put back on, he said put back on top. So he's going to be given that knowledge, understanding that was taken away. So at the end of this cycle, you're seeing how the whole world, as it has no knowledge or understanding whatsoever. It talks about that also in the Nag Hammadi, that once you really understand what's going on here in the world, you realize that the world is a corpse. The world is dead. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now. Now, the next part, I'm going to actually I'm going to go to the next one here. There's your Qumran caves right there where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. But we're going to read this part right here. So it's easy to see right now that we are at the end of this time cycle. And we know at the end of this time cycle, then that means that the Most High is about to sweep these people off the land and give us this knowledge and understanding that we had before. We're going to read a little bit about that right now with these part here with the pyramids, okay? Biblical revelations, promises, all will be revealed at the end of the present world. So at the end of this cycle, all is being revealed, okay? The extraordinary discoveries in Egypt and other parts of the world describe not just an advanced technology, but an evolutionary path beyond our present state. Now, they always love to push, Egypt, Egypt, Egypt. They know damn well they found a lot of this stuff. A lot of stuff they found over there, or that they say they found in Egypt, they found here. But they want to make it sound like it's, hey, everything's the Middle East. They'll give you some truth, but they still got to tie everything back to the so-called Middle East. Okay, let's go it again. Biblical revelations promises all will be revealed at the end of the present world. The extraordinary discoveries in Egypt and other parts of the world describe not just an advanced technology, but evolutionary path beyond our present state. Careful scientific examination of the world's key pyramid sites reveal them to be sophisticated harmonic structures, not only mirroring positions of the planets and stellar systems, but designed to mimic the chakras and harmonic cavities of the human body. Okay, even each stone within the Great Pyramid is harmonically tuned to a specific frequency or musical tone. And what's kind of crazy is that last night I just happened to be watching Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Um, I probably watched watched that movie as a kid, but I never understood it. So I just happened to find some time last night. So I was just kind of sitting there and watching it. And at the end of the movie, that's how they're communicating. They're communicating through these harmonic, like music and these sounds and musical tone. So they have our books, they have our information, and they put it in movies. So if you go towards the end of that movie, it'll actually show you how they're actually communicating with the UFOs with a musical tone. So I found that very interesting. I just happened to watch that movie, happened to make a couple of these videos, and then all of a sudden I find this information, and it kind of all starts to come together. All right. So it also says the sarcophagus in the center of the Great Pyramid is tuned to the frequency of the human heartbeat. Astonishing experiments conducted by Dr. Hertok and colleagues at the Great Pyramid and other sites in the South Americas. See, there it is again. It's Egypt, Egypt, Egypt. Well, we did it also in the South Americas, but we're not going to talk about that. You see, they're more likely they probably did it in the South Americas first, because hello, that was where they came over here and they got exposed to a lot of this information. Okay, it wasn't like they had it over there and then all of a sudden, they already knew all this stuff before they came over here. No, we know that's not true. So again, Dr. Hertok and colleagues at the Great Pyramid and other sites in the South Americas demonstrate the pyramid to be voice-activated geophysical computers. This kind of stuff, like I said, information is absolutely mind-blowing. Thank you again, Switching Lanes. I really appreciate you sending us information. I haven't, said much about it right now. I said because I wasn't ready to read it yet. I said, but now we're going to be getting into some more information. So we're going to be getting into a lot of this stuff. And like I said, it's just mind-blowing stuff. But this is how it's supposed to be at the end. We're supposed to be growing. We're supposed to be getting more knowledge, understanding, and we're waiting for the Spirit to download this information. And that's exactly, this is one of the first steps that I'm going to be taking for myself to be getting into some more of this information. So maybe in the comment section, as much as they'll let you post without deleting comments, try to put some more information. If you have some people who have more knowledge, understanding of this, share it with us. If you got some more resources that we can probably try to get, share it with us so we can try to get some of this stuff so we can start to start searching for the Most High, chasing after Him even more so with the help of the Holy Spirit. Okay, so that's just absolutely amazing. Some of this stuff is like really over my head. It's like it's not my expertise. So, but to demonstrate the pyramids to be voice activated geophysical computers. That's absolutely amazing. It says there was way more going on underneath these structures. That's what it talks about also here. And that pretty much, well, let me see if I can just read some of this here. Let me continue. In Tony's specific ancient sounds, the scientific team produced visible sounding waves. Okay, standing waves, my bad, of light above and within the pyramids, and were even able to penetrate hitherto inaccessible chambers. Subsequent discoveries indicate the ancient priest scientists employed some sort of harmonic sound technology within the temple structures. The lost Enochian knowledge reveals the mother tongue as a language of light, known to the ancients as Iburu. It is the primal seed language introduced at the beginning of this time cycle. So, like I said, we got a lot to learn. We got a lot of information that we have to wait for the Most High to give us back. We can keep praying for that as well, as we're praying at our times at 12 o'clock noon, wherever you're at, 6 o'clock West Coast time. We can also ask for this knowledge and understanding to be given back to us. That's something else that, that's part of this whole, switching from the times of Esau and his time cycle and switching back to ours and giving back this knowledge and understanding. So this is a huge blessing from switching lanes. And I want to thank you again for sending this information to me, because this is absolutely huge. And I said it's going to be a huge blessing for the nation. So I just wanted to share a little bit of information in order just to kind of get, your appetite going and try to think about some more information, and for us, it's not all about just concentrating on what the other nations are doing. Everything revolves around the Most High's chosen people. We are the time clock, and our awakening is the time clock for the world. So in order for us to be able to lead the world, that the Most High is going to he's going to have to elevate us, give us his knowledge and understanding, give us this information that we had once before. But this, like I said, was just a little something real quick that I wanted to put together and share. And there's going to be more coming. Thank you again to the nation. I said that's how it's supposed to be, is us all working together, supporting each other, sharing information, working together. That is the way that our people, I said were before we were, and that's why it was so important for them to make us fight with each other, hate one another. We want to make us want to help the Gentiles, but then drag each other down as a people. So as we come out of that, we need to learn how to support each other, work with one another, and be the best example to the world that, that shining light on the hill is not just our land, but also us as a people. Showing love to one another. First, showing love to the Most High. Love to the Son. Love to the Holy Spirit. Love to one another. And the other people see that, and they'll be attracted to that. But it talks about that also in, American Holocaust. How when the other nations had opportunity to come and live with our people, as they call them, the natives, they never wanted to go back to their English brethren, their European brethren, because they saw how we lived and they wanted to be with us. And I venture to say that's going to be how it's going to be again soon, with a lot of people seeing the truth and wanting to cling on to the Most High's chosen people. So like I said, this is a good start right here. We're going to get into this even more. But if you have some information, please share it in the comment section. All praise is to the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who was wisdom, who was Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.